Welcome to the May 8th edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on the Denver Post reporting this week that high-ranking VA officials knew about problems with the Colorado hospital back in 2011, yet no changes surfaced until 2 years later. Pat Cahoon from Westword. It's not like we've had pleasant headlines about the VA for the last several months, but this one seemed like an extra kick in the gut that folks knew about it 2 years before doing anything, and even the text messages or emails back and forth seemed like pages out of a spy novel. What did you think of the report came out this week?
And a very bad spy novel too.
Exactly.
Because all it took was a Freedom of Information, a FOIA request. They got these emails. And you're seeing that they knew how much trouble. 4 years before it finally broke open, now we've got estimates 3 times at least of the original amount that they were budgeting this for. It's appalling. And not only did they know, they knew how in trouble they were because they said to quit sending emails and instead, let's just talk about it on the phone without recording. So shame on the VA. This is outrageous. And the fact that some people were allowed to retire with their, with their bonuses, with their full salary, with their buyouts, and this is still going on, and we are no closer to having the hospital for the veterans who really need it. It is a disgrace.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. Like Patty said, it's not like we can go and fire a lot of these folks. Many of them have retired or have left already. So it seems like it adds insult to injury. What did you make of all the different reports?
Well, our kudos to the Denver Post, which shows there still is some serious what local papers are for, which is to investigate and advance local stories. Our president often says that he's not an ideological guy at all. He's just a pragmatist who's interested in making things work. I would say he's fallen short of that objective in management of the VA. He can't be expected to supervise hospital construction, but he's in charge of appointing people who will. And that doesn't seem to have been a priority, whereas the VA has tried to take on all kinds of new missions for itself, like homelessness and things like that. And it's another example of before you expand government into doing something new, you should first make sure that the existing things which government is doing, like the VA running and building veterans hospitals, are done better. Could you just imagine if all this money that's been wasted had instead been given to vets to say, here's the vouchers, you go get the care you need wherever, how much healthier the veterans population in Colorado would be.
Ed Sealer from the Denver Business Journal. I can't imagine the VA story is ever going to get much better. I mean, it seems that these kind of stories keep dribbling out. But do you think this one's going to have some legs? Is there's going to be some impact from this particular story?
Well, and first of all, let me follow up with David said. Big kudos to David Ollinger and David McGoya for having the insight to go after this and break it. I don't know that this has big legs, and here's why. As you look at this, it's hard to imagine, what could be done differently at this point. We're so far beyond this. It proves that years of mismanagement, of outright wanting to duck around responsibilities is out there. I mean, you need to kind of just take an axe and chop down that section of the VA that is overseeing this, but they've already started doing that in many ways. So, the good news is, actually, I'll take issue with you saying I don't think it's going to get better. I don't actually think it gets worse from here, unless they find there is outright corruption, money passing under the table for some reason to make this project possibly slower. I mean, it doesn't actually get worse. At this point, I think what it just sends a message is we have to be more vigilant sometimes. I mean, I know that adding levels of government oversight is most of the time not an answer to the question, but if you have your own division that's this irresponsible, maybe you have to beef up the oversight of yourself, and we just have to hope this gets done soon.
Outright optimism at the CIO table. I knew at some point in some day it was going to happen. It was nice it was you, Ed. Good job. Penfield Tate, attorney from Greenberg Traurig, long-term state lawmaker. Let's go with Ed's optimism. Can't it get worse?
Yes. Be careful what you wish for. Just what Ed warned about. I don't want to just, say that that's not a possibility. This is a disaster. It's not just the fact that the folks at the VA knew they had a problem, they actively hid it. They actively concealed it, and they actively conspired to make sure others didn't know how bad things were. There were whistleblowers internally. They silenced them or ignored them. People retired and got paid big money. And I thought the Post did a wonderful job. It was just struck me as so ironic that request after request for comment was met with no comment, or they're not available for comment, or they declined to comment. Well, they've retired and they've been paid and they don't have anything else to say. But this is a disaster. And I suppose the ultimate problem is, given the mission of the VA, how it started, to care for veterans who had served this country, to provide hospital and other medical and other care for this population, and to see, I mean, they're just throwing money out the window now. And Ed's right. You're so far down the road, you almost have to spend money to finish it, because not having a VA hospital would be a total disaster. But, you know, some efforts have been made, but a whole bunch of people still need to be fired. And if it's not ongoing oversight, some sort of cleansing or public commission or expose needs to be done, because this is just a perfect outline of how not to run any business, government or otherwise. It's horrible.
I totally agree. That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Postgame this week. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks very much for watching.